Hi, welcome back to Job Opportunity, and today we are back with another great new episode for you guys. Today we have the amazing Mrs. Jen Altaidi, who is an account executive. So today we're going to be asking her a few questions about her job. So your title, as I mentioned in the introduction, is account executive. Could you just explain what that is and what your job is in a nutshell?
Yeah, so the company I work for is Odyssey, and that previous was Entercom. So some of you might know us as K Earth 101. What else we have? We have The Wave, we have Jack FM, K Rock. So these are all radio stations. So what I do is sales for the radio stations. So as an account executive, my role is to go out and prospect new people, new businesses, talk with them about their marketing and their advertising. And my ultimate goal is to get them onto the radio station as a new client. And then also to be able to take my current clients and help build them up and to have them do more business than what they're currently doing.
My next question that I have for you is, why did you initially pursue this career, say, over others?
So I went to San Diego State and I got my degree in advertising. It was I got my undergrad in journalism with an emphasis in advertising and a minor in English. And then I went and got my master's degree in leadership. So that's really how I got into it. And I just fell in love with it. As I started taking courses specifically for my major, I was like, yes, I'm in the absolute right place.
So like you just mentioned, you got a master's in leadership. And so obviously you know a lot about the subject and you have a lot of experience in that area. So I was just wondering, what advice would you give to younger students that are struggling with being or even becoming a leader in their respective settings?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest things about being a leader is to understand, what your role is and what you're trying to do. Sometimes people feel like they need to be very bossy, very forward, very pushy, very stringent on certain things. But I found that leadership in general, for me, is about being a servant leadership. And if you haven't done any research on what servant leadership is, it really comes down to serving the people that you are working with.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I think a lot of students are going to love hearing that and what you just said. I think that was very important. The next question I have for you is, what does an ordinary day look like for you at work?
Oh man. So the best thing, what I love about being in sales is every single day is different. My day changes on average. So it could range from doing a lot of cold calling, trying to reach out to people to get them to be interested in wanting to advertise either on radio or in digital advertising. And so it's a lot of cold calling, a lot of picking up the phone and talking to people that you don't know anything about them. They hang up on you, they slam the phone on you, they yell at you, you hear a lot of no's. So you have to have a lot of thick skin for that. It's also about customer service, making sure that your current clients and clients that you're bringing on, that everything is following the right path and that they're on track for. If it's getting a commercial on the radio, if it's writing a script and getting approvals prior to the start date that they're actually going to be on. It's also billing. I have to make sure that all of my accounts are up to date, that they're paying us in an appropriate time frame. It's a lot of hand holding and making sure clients feel comfortable with what they're doing. And then I also, ultimately, I have a responsibility. I have a budget that I have to hit every single month, and making sure that the revenue that I'm bringing in exceeds that so that I get paid in higher commissions, and it's a lot.
So a lot of people that watch these videos, they do request certain things. So one thing they're really curious about is, what are the pros and cons of your job, or what are the most difficult parts of your job and what are like the most rewarding parts of your job?
So the pros are obviously the easiest. It's going to be the money.
Yeah.
The more you bring in, the more money you make. And so that's really good. I think that and I love, okay, so let's go through a couple more really good pros because these are amazing. I don't know, free concerts, any concert that you want to go to. I don't know, backstage passes. I like it. Baseball games, football games, being in suites, free food. Those are all the perks. And that's all of the great things that come with working for a radio station, or a television station. But radio, really, for me, I think that's, you're going to get the concerts and things like that. The cons are going to be, it's really hard. It is not easy, as I was saying before, when you have people like slamming the phone down on you, don't ever call me again. It kind of wears on you and can be quite defeating when quite every single day after day, you're getting a lot of people that are telling you, no, go away, go away, go away. And so I think that that's probably the hardest thing, is for people to understand it is a lot of hard work to try and get people to advertise and to understand or move their marketing dollars from one place to you and trying to upsell that. It does come with a lot of persistence. You have to be very persistent in what you do, and have the fortitude that, sometimes you look at that and you're like, well, that's all right. Today may have been a bad day. There's always tomorrow.
A lot of people are also really curious about, for jobs, the lifestyles. So mostly the balance between work life and then life outside of that. So could you describe in your own experience what has been like trying to find that balance between the two?
Yeah, I think work-life balance is really important. And it's also important to find a career and a job that allows that. Because I think I think that a lot of times it's not just the career, it comes down to the company. To be able to sit down and when you're interviewing, asking those questions, what do you provide, or how does work-life balance work for you in this business? Because usually the person that you're interviewing with is going to be at a higher rank than what you're most likely coming into. So if you can ask those questions about, what is the work-life balance? What are my hours that I'm working for? And I don't know. I think that if you have somebody who's a very good leader and someone that'll come in and say, hey, look, I know you have family. I have 2 kids. Jen, I know you have family. So, sometimes there's doctor's appointments. Sometimes there's baseball games. There's volleyball tournaments. And when you have those, if you can communicate it up front, then that often is when businesses will look at you and say, hey, she's gotten all her work done. I'm going to let her take a half day off today. That's
great advice. Thank you. Okay, so just about to wrap it up here. Don't want to take too much of your time. The last question. For those interested in becoming, say, an account executive like you, which I bet a lot of people do after this interview, what do you recommend are the best steps for them to take to get there?
It's interesting because as I have gotten older, when I was younger, I always thought that you had to go and get your degree. Some radio stations hire account executives without even having a degree. So it's up to you on what you want to do. Is it important to you for getting your degree? Go get your degree. Some people can just go and apply for a job and not have a degree. So that I'm going to leave up to whoever's watching this and what they feel is best for them. And then it's just a matter of going to the radio station and, interviewing, doing the research on the company, taking the time to understand, going through Google. What are some of the questions that are asked for this position? What does it look like? What do I need to know? What is the job description? And being well aware of all of that is super important.
That is amazing. Well, what a great way to cap off this incredible interview overall. Thank you so much, Mrs. Al-Taidi, for coming here and just being yourself. You just shared so much great information, so much great advice. And I think anyone watching will definitely have some interest in becoming an account executive now and know how to do it the right way. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes, thank you. No, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And also thank you to all the viewers that are watching, and we'll see you guys next time.